Hi to you all out there. This is a short or maybe a long, let's see, update video of upgrading an active balancer to the EEL DIY battery box. So I already did two of those. So this one is already modified and it's working so far. The second one is also modified and seems to work. It's not in duty at the moment, but this evening I will give it a try. And this is the last one of the three boxes I have. Already installed with all the batteries and the balancer boards, and the front panel is at the moment not here because it's, let me check, it's out here because I modified it already with a hole for the cable to the active balancer. So yeah, let's start. I showed you already that it's at the moment not in working condition. So what do you need? What do you need for all those, for all these modifications? It's a piece of cable channel or cable guide or whatever you want to call it. I still don't know the name for this in English, the correct one, but maybe cable guide fits quite well. This is a 20 millimeter wide cable channel or cable guide, and 20 millimeter high, and has a length of round about 600 millimeters. Yeah, so this you need. Then you need covers for this, and you can change this up to your preference. But I have I think each of those longer ones is around about 15 millimeter, 150 millimeters, and the smaller ones are half of it or something like 70 millimeters. Yeah. So why you need these kind of pieces? Because you I clip them on there to show you or explain you why it is structured in this way. And the small one here and the last one here. So between those covers of the cable guide, all the wires from the balancer harness will go in, and this one will be installed on the middle rail here. So it will be installed from here to there, a little bit wider than the last flexible bus bar. And how do I fix those? I don't screw them into the metal, but it's up to you. You can do that, but I avoided that because if you drill holes here, you have small sharp metal pieces falling inside there, and those I don't want to have those inside the case with the batteries together. So I used double-sided tape, and yeah, so we will get these tapes off and stick this inside there in a few minutes. So what do you need else is, of course, one of those active balancers. Your preference, what kind of brand or rebranded version you want to use, but try to get one of the latest ones. The latest ones are, I think, from September 2022. It's a GW 24S4EB, if I'm not wrong. And GV is the or Giwi, or however this Chinese brand name is pronounced, is the original manufacturers of those small boxes. Yeah. Also, one thing to mention, maybe if we are already there, you can see here address. This is the yeah. I don't have to blur it because it's a Bluetooth address, and with this Bluetooth address, this is shown in the application, the same here. So I printed small labels with it on it, so every time I connect to one of those active balances, I know exactly on which pack I am, because you cannot connect to all of them at the same time. You every time have to choose one of these active balances where you want to connect to make settings or to track down the volumes of the single cells here. Yeah. So what else do you need? Of course, a drill bit or a drilling machine. I prefer this well-known German brand. I'm not making some promotion for it right now. Then you need a step drill. The step drill you need for and other drills because you have to drill first a small hole, then a bigger hole, and then you start up with a step drill and make at least a hole 14 millimeters wide in the front panel. And where exactly do you need to make this hole? It's quite easy. I give you right now the measurements, or what I used. You don't have to make it like that way. Maybe you find a better way to do it, but I used 110 millimeters from the top here and 150 millimeters from the side here, and exactly there I drill a hole with 14 millimeter width. So why 14 millimeter? Because on the first two cases I already had the harness in there, but this is also something you need to crimp these kind of ring terminals on it to use the harness with the battery. But yeah, you will find out. I can right now put the ring terminals through this, and I use right now the thicker one. You get also the thicker cable through this 14 millimeter hole. Yeah, so you can stick it really into or out it. So in case you already connected all the terminals to your battery, you don't have to lose everything and do it again, but you can disconnect it from your balancer connector and get the connector stuck through this hole. And after this, sorry, the light is going off, and after this you can fix the active balancer on the front here. So why is it that I used exactly this position on the frame? It's quite easy, because it's not because I had connection problems. Maybe the connection is not that good, but if I'm here maybe in a distance of half a meter or meter around the cases, I can access the Bluetooth connection with my active balancer, even if it is, and it was in this case somewhere here in the middle part, which is covered by steel on the top, on all the sides, and also on the front. So this is not the case. This is not the reason I used or I fixed it on the front plate, but there are 3 LEDs on there. So these LEDs are showing you standby status or balancing status, and I also want to have the ability for maybe later issue tracking or something like that. I never had issues until now, but I want to change the balancer without taking everything apart, because one of those cases I explained in my last video is around about 120 kilograms, and if those are stuck to a tower with more than 1 meter height, it's not easy, or it's not possible for one person alone to get those unstuck so that I can access the lowest one like that. So I want to avoid that, so that's the reason I choose this position in the front plate, so I can access it every time I want to go there and disconnect it, get it off, put another balancer on, or whatever I want to do. How did I fix those? I did not use hot glue. I know some friends of mine who like hot glue. They are fixing everything, their car, cables, pictures on the wall, everything is fixed with hot glue and duct tape, but I don't want to do that, because I want to get this thing off, and this thing is, as you can see, fixed with these kind of, I don't know the name exactly for it, but it's a, in Germany we call it Klettverschluss. Yeah, it's a kind of textile with this kind of hooks, and you can stick it on it and you can get it off easily without using tools. Yeah. So a drill, you need this kind of step drill. You need some drills for drilling the hole on the first, with the first holes through the front panel, and be a little bit careful. There could be cables in the back there, so you have to fix everything. Or if you start building up one of those cases, then start really to make this hole first before you put anything on the front plate. This is the easiest way. I don't want to get everything off again and build it up from scratch, so I found a way how to drill the hole without getting the BMS and all the bus bars and displays off. So yeah. Okay, that's it so far for the beginning. I will make right now a cut here, and after this cut, I think I will start to wire the cables in the fixed cable guide here in the rail. Yeah, and with that said, I make right now a cut and see you in a few minutes. Okay, I right now stick this cable rail in the middle there. So the next thing is the prepared front panel with the hole. This is the next one I fix on the front. So I will make again a cut here, and will screw the front panel to the case, and as soon as this is done I will be back. Okay, let's go on. I right now fix the front plate with all the screws here, with the black screws here around, and you can see already here, this is our, where this is the hole where the cables come from all the different cells to the BMS, which is later fixed in here. One thing to mention is I prepared already the cable, or these cable harnesses, for, because there are two, for the BMS, for the not BMS, I'm sorry, for the active balancer. These active balancers, this is something to mention, are not dedicated to 16S setups, but they can go, I think, up to 24S, and you can also serial those, so you can basically build much bigger batteries, as these balancers don't have a communication in place. And they are only really checking for the single cells. Communication is not needed, and at this point, that's why I get all the unneeded wires off here, because it's already a mess with these lots of cables here, and the additional ones I don't need for my setup, for a 16S setup. I get those off. And how can you get those off? You need a really small, I hope you can see it, a small screwdriver or something like that, or a needle, something sharp and tiny. And then you can press here on this nose, on this fixing nose, on this contact on front of the cable, and then you pull the cable out to the back. So then after that you have two connectors, one with 4 cables and the other one is, let me check, the other one is with 13 cables. And what you need also is how you want to connect these harnesses to your batteries. And you see here the ground has to be connected, and then battery 1, battery 2, battery 3, battery 4, and so on, until you are at battery 16. And then the last battery has also be connected to power, so there has to be a kind of bridge in there. So you can see this here. It's a little bit weird how they draw this, but yeah, if you follow the lines, you will find out why and how to connect it correctly. And with that said, I make right now a cut again, then start to wire all those in, and I'm wiring not only those in, but I will put them in the cable channel. I decided not to cut the cables because maybe I want to use those on a later, on a future battery or whatever, in a different kind of setup. And if I right now cut those cables, they may be too short and I'm in need of a new harness. And I also decided not to solder those to the soldering points here, because these rails, I basically can use the same solder points for here to the active balancer, but I want to keep everything as stock as possible to reuse the parts in the future. And if I right now sold it there, I have to get all the solder points off and so on, like this setup here, or like this configuration. I will unscrew only the nuts here, get my cables off, and that's it. Yeah. So these are the reasons. If you have more questions on that, leave me comments, and I try to answer it as good as possible. Yeah, and with that said, I will go on with getting the cables for the active balancer connected to all the cells, and see you after that. Okay, ungefähr 20 Minuten später oder halbe Stunde, keine Ahnung, wie lange es jetzt gedauert hat. Oh, sorry, I have to switch to English. Half an hour later, so I have right now the harness connected to all the bus bars and the poles of the batteries. It looks a little bit like a mess because everything is flying around here, but give me 5 minutes more and it's quite sorted in, and all the cables coming out on the hole we drilled before in the front plate. So stay tuned. So 5 minutes later, so I right now got all the cables here fitted into the small cable guide, and try to figure the ways a little bit out where they are guiding. And you can see right now here there's only the two connectors to the active balancer coming out. And what I'm doing right now is fixing the rails again, because those I had to unscrew because I wanted to guide the cables below it to the contact points, and connect the main bus bars to the BMS, to the two poles here. Yeah, and then there's only on the end to fix the active balancer with the good old Klettverschluss tapes to the front panel, and that's it so far. And when I did that, I think I will come back again, and then closing this video after that. So give me a few seconds more. Okay, I just right now checked all the nuts again for the Newton meters, and I connected also the leads for the balancing boards on both sides. What I did not do right now is I did not stick the active balancer here, because it's still prepared for another video I want to make for these balancers I forgot about. But when I switch that on and wait until the BMS is booted up. Oh, yeah, okay. We can check the cell voltages, and if I scroll through this, it should show on each cell from 01 to 16 a voltage. Yeah, and the voltage, as you can see, there's not much deviation. It's only 2 millivolts deviation at the moment. And these packs are around 85% state of charge. So I dismantled today the battery at 85%. So that one and this one is at 85%, and this one at the moment hangs around I don't know exactly 95%. So what I'm doing right now, or what's the next step, is to bring this down to around 85% of state of charge. Then I will check. Then I will disconnect it for a while, wait until the voltage drops and settles, and then I will check the voltages of the packs, and will reconnect all three together and stack them to a big tower. Yeah, so thank you for following this video. If you have questions about this modification, it looks really much cleaner as throwing the active balancer in. All the wires look really wild when they are hanging around in there, so this is a much better setup and much easier to track down issues if you will have once issues with these specs. So hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for my short mistake. This is the issue when you make videos in two different languages, that you will switch within a video. I think it was not that bad, but yeah, don't worry. I don't worry about it. So if you need some more information, leave me comments, subscribe my channel. I will be happy about that, and yeah, see you for the next videos soon. Bye.